We can reveal that Boris Johnson's total of 65,815 migrants who arrived in his 39 years in office has now been surpassed in about half that time, 19 months in office, by Sir Keir Starmer.
Good day to you. Welcome to the British Report, the only place where we take the political headlines, give them a good shake and see what falls out. Look at your street right now, your local park, the school where your kids play. Somewhere out there amongst the morning commute and the daily grind are 53,000 migrant criminals walking free. Not in a cell, not on a plane home, but whereabouts unknown. We are talking about 53,000 individuals released from prison or detention who were earmarked for deportation but decided to vanish into thin air instead. And here is the kicker: 736 of them are rapists, murderers and pedophiles. One, they could be anywhere in Britain. But because Keir Starmer's Home Office has lost track of them, nobody knows where anywhere is. Communities across the country are erupting from Glasgow to Dover as mass deportation protests spread like wildfire, demanding that the government finds these criminals and sends them packing. But instead of a manhunt for the missing, we are seeing arrests of the protesters. It is a world turned upside down where the state seemingly values the privacy of a foreign felon over the safety of a British family. Quick favour, if you are loving this, hit that subscribe button. Over 92% of viewers have not yet. It is free, takes a second and means the world to us. Thanks if you did. Now back to the show.
It was right here, earlier this month, that the UK convened leaders from across Europe, in fact in this very room, together with President Zelensky, to support a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. Because we know that Ukraine's security is our security, and we can only deliver it by taking bold action at home, with the highest sustained increase in defence spending since the Cold War, and also by working together with our international partners. Now, the same is clearly true for the security of our borders. Illegal migration is a massive driver of global insecurity. It undermines our ability to control who comes here. And that makes people angry. It makes me angry, frankly.
Let us dive straight into the data that dropped just recently, and quite frankly, it is enough to make your tea go cold. During a recent parliamentary debate, an MP stood up and asked the Home Office a very simple, very pointed question: how many migrants have you actually lost? The answer was a hammer blow to the public's trust. Exactly 53,298 individuals have breached their immigration bail or absconded from detention, to their whereabouts unknown. Think about that for a second. That is nearly the entire capacity of the Etihad Stadium, just wandering around Britain without a trace. These were people the system had flagged, caught and processed for removal. Yet they simply walked out the back door while the Home Office was busy checking its spreadsheets. But it is the subset of that 53,000 that is truly terrifying. We are talking about 736 foreign criminals, specifically released from prison after serving their sentences for the most heinous crimes imaginable: rape, murder and child abuse. 3. They were meant for immediate deportation. Instead, they vanished. An MP in Parliament put it bluntly: 736 criminals, rapists, murderers, pedophiles. Please think about that. While Keir Starmer's government holds this data internally, the public is left to wonder who exactly is living 3 doors down. To understand why this is happening, we have to look at the legal maze that Starmer's system has built. Take the case of Resgar Zen-Ghana, a man who posed as a private hire taxi driver in Glasgow. Back in 2006, he picked up a 25-year-old woman and raped her. He was convicted, sentenced, and issued a deportation order. Did he leave? Of course not. He absconded decades ago and is still believed to be in Britain today because the Home Office simply never found him. Then there is William Danger, a Congolese national and convicted rapist. While he was busy challenging his deportation on human rights grounds, he managed to abuse 2 more children in Britain. The system gave him the time to appeal, and he used that time to find more victims. This isn't a glitch in the system, it is the system itself. Foreign criminals commit crimes, get sentenced, and then trigger a flurry of appeals based on Article 8 or Article 3 of the Human Rights Act. For under the current administration, the courts frequently side with the rights of the criminal to have a family life in the UK, effectively cancelling the deportation and releasing them back into the community. If you are watching this and you are furious that the state is prioritising the human rights of a rapist over the safety of a schoolgirl, you are not alone. If you thought the whereabouts unknown group was bad, wait until you hear about the ones we do know about. There are currently 11,800 foreign criminals living openly in British communities right now. They aren't in prison. They aren't in a high-security wing. They are in your neighbourhoods, near your schools and next to your families. That number has doubled in just 5 years. In 2018, it was around 5,000. Today, under STARMER's watch, it has surged to nearly 12,000. Why? Because the government refuses to or simply cannot deport them. In 2025, only about 5,400 foreign criminals were actually deported out of the tens of thousands eligible. That is a success rate of less than 50%. The rest are granted bail, told to report to a Home Office centre once a month, and surprise, surprise, many of them simply stop showing up and join the pool of 53,000 absconders.
The Prime Minister is today announcing what he's calling a global crackdown on illegal immigration, pledging to stop the smuggling gangs once and for all. Writing in today's Daily Mail, he says, "Believe me, I get it. You are right to be angry about illegal immigration." And he adds that we all pay the price for insecure borders, from the cost of accommodation to the strain on our services. Dilly's going to come to you first on this. It's refreshing, is it, to hear the leader of our country actually saying we are listening to people's concerns.
British people are not stupid. They can see the change in their towns and they are beginning to find out the truth. From Glasgow to Nottingham, the mass deportation tour is picking up steam. Hundreds of people are marching through cities with signs demanding deport foreign criminals, protect British communities. In Bristol, protesters have gathered outside council offices demanding lists of foreign criminals living in the area. Parents want to know if there is a predator on their street, but the government's response is chilling. They claim that publishing such locations would breach the privacy of the criminals. In Birmingham and Manchester, the story is the same. Demonstrations outside immigration centres met with a heavy-handed police presence. The irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. While 736 violent criminals walk free at unknown locations, the British Transport Police and the Metropolitan Police are busy making mass arrests of protesters at King's Cross and in London. Citizens are being charged with public order offences for demanding that their government enforces its own deportation orders. This is what people are calling two-tier Britain. One rule for the protected foreign national, another for the dissenting British citizen. Perhaps the most insulting part of this entire saga is the resettlement grant. Believe it or not, Starmer's government is actually paying foreign criminals to leave. We are talking about grants of up to £1,500 per person if they agree to leave voluntarily. Think about that logic for a second. You come to this country, you commit a violent crime against a British citizen, and then the taxpayer hands you a £1,500 thank you for finally deciding to go home. It is a deportation strategy based on begging rather than enforcement. And when they refuse the cash, they go back to court, claim their human rights are being violated, and stay anyway. It is a rigged game where the British public is the only one losing. We are at a tipping point. You can arrest protesters in Glasgow, but you cannot arrest the feeling of betrayal in an entire community. When 53,000 becomes 60,000, and when the next foreign criminal who was protected by the system commits a tragedy, the fury will be unstoppable. The people of Britain are choosing to fight for their safety, and they are demanding a government that values them over those who wish them harm. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to stay informed on how these mass deportations are or aren't happening, stay tuned to the British Report.